Hello everybody and welcome to the first ever episode of That Vegan Gaming Podcast. On this week's episode we're joined by Natalie, who runs her own clothing brand, Gobby Vegans. There's so many amazing designs on her website I advise you to check out, this one being one of my favourites. We enjoyed a very in-depth chat about veganism, her clothing brand and all the other projects she had going on. I really enjoyed my time talking to her and I hope you do too. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe on whichever platform you listen to, and sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Hello, Natalie, aka Gobby Vegans. Welcome to the Vegan Gaming Podcast.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Living the dream, thanks.
We've got to start with your clothing brand, haven't we? You only the way that all the pictures are online and everything, I just presumed it had been going for so long, but you only started it in shutdown, not the shutdown, the lockdown, didn't you?
Yeah, so I only started the website went live in 1st of August. So it took me ages to make the website. I thought like it was really funny. I remember it like yesterday. I'm like sitting here in like start of June and I'm like starting working on the designs. And I'm like, oh, Steve, to my housemate, I'm like, I'm going to build this website and it's going to take like 2 to 3 weeks. And he's like, 2 to 3 weeks. I'm like, yeah, easy. And then it's like 6 weeks of me working every day. And I'm like, I hate this. Why did I do so many things? Why is it taking so long? Like I'm literally like hitting my head on the wall. So it took much longer than 2 to 3 weeks. It took about 7 or 8 weeks of like every single day working on it. Because yeah, I think that when I released it, I had like 1,320 items on it or something. So yeah, it was like caption for every single one of them, and then obviously like trying to make the website as nice as possible and like learning as you go, because I've built my websites before but never a shop, and yeah, it was like a massive learning curve. But yeah, it's been only live since the 1st of August, so 2 months and a little bit, I think, right?
Yeah, it feels so much. I think it's because I see so many people posting. I know you love when people buy products, you want them to post, and you so many people buying. It just feels like it should be longer. It should have been going on for longer than 2 months. How full it feels already.
Thanks. It does feel like it does feel definitely like it's been longer than 2 months. Like sometimes I need to like bring myself back to earth because I'm just so excited and I'm just like, I have so many like ideas where to go with this. And then sometimes I'm like, oh, it's not going as well as it should be. And I'm like, oh, calm down. Like it's still a massive startup. Like it is 2 months old. Calm down. Like things need to have time to get bigger and better. But yeah, I do get super impatient. So I don't know. It's not my best quality. I'm just like, come on, like, can things happen right now? Like, come on.
Did you,
Yeah.
because I know, like, obviously, you do a lot of your drawings. Did you do a lot of the drawings before and then decide that you were going to have the shop, or did you start drawing because you knew you had the shop?
No. So, okay, that's what I do. I don't really like saying this because I'm scared that people are going to be like, well, I'm not going to buy this because, like, she doesn't even know what she's doing. So, obviously, I've been a photographer for, like, years and years. And I could never, ever draw. Like, in Czech at school, you need to decide between arts and music. And I did music because I couldn't draw. And then obviously for like my editing, when I edit my pictures, I have a graphic tablet with a pen. And my old one, which was fairly small, broke in about start of June. So I had to order a new one and I got a fairly big one. And I had no pictures to edit, but like, because obviously I'm not working because of lockdown. So I just like started drawing. And the first picture I drew was a picture of Ozzie. And then I like looked at it and I was like, oh my God, he looks like something from hell. And I like posted it on my Insta and I was like, I just drew a first picture in like 15 years and Ozzy literally looks like something that's going to like come out of the floor, eat your soul, and then just take you straight to hell. And then people are like, it's not actually that bad. Like if you haven't drawn for like 15 years, it's actually all right. So I started like doodling more things. And then I posted all these other pictures, and like my friends were like, oh wait, these are actually really nice. Like, what are you talking about? And then the day after, I drew the pig, you know, the one that's like on some of the designs, like the little sitting baby pig.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this would look really cute on a t-shirt. So I like photoshopped it onto a t-shirt or like a tank top or something, and send it to like my best friend. And she was like, this is actually really cute. Like, you should do this. And I was like, I should do this. So I think that the second day I drew the pig, and then like a week later, I had like my first items in my hands, like 8 days later or 9 days later. And I'm like, this is nuts. Like, I didn't even draw like 10 days ago. And now like there are like things with my drawings on them in the real world. Like, I can wear this tank top, and if people are like, oh, that's a nice tank top, I'll be like, I made it. Like, I drew it. And then from there, it just like all very quickly spiraled into doing the entire shop, and yeah, learning all the other things. And yeah, it was just mad. It was like, where is this coming from? But somehow it worked. So yeah.
Obviously, I've seen a lot of your like early drawing and stuff, and then like you could tell kind of your sense of humor and things, because you saw these wacky ones like the vegan sausage one and things like that. There's just like no end to where you'll go with it and stuff, and some of them are so cool. You know, like just like, are you always thinking of like new ideas constantly, or
all the time? Like, honestly, if you saw my phone, it's like full of like pictures that sort of inspired me, or like notes of what I can do. And yeah, it's just mad. Like, all my computers, all my phone, my iPad, everything is just full of things where I'm like, I'm not even lying, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night at like 5 a.m. and I'm like, idea. I like start typing it down, and I can't fall asleep because I'm staring in the phone at like 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh, could have waited till the morning. I'm like, I would have forgotten by then. So yeah, there's always something. Like, it's my brain didn't stop since I started this journey. I don't even think I had like a day when I didn't do some work related to Gobby Vegans or any of the other things I do. But yeah, it's just always thinking of new things, you know, like new posts on Instagram, and yeah, new patterns and like slogans and things to draw, and like how to make it all easier and better for people. Yeah, it is a little bit tiring, because it would be nice to, like, you know, once every a month maybe just have like a day off, but which doesn't happen. But yeah, it's always like going really quickly in the head and just thinking of things to bring up next.
I think that's the thing when you have your own business or anything. You are always working hard, and you do want a day off, but you see people wearing your shirts and stuff, and you just when you feel proud and you see that, you just want to continue and do more and more and more, don't you?
100%. Yeah, it is definitely, yeah, seeing how it's growing. And like, obviously in the start it was like my friends wearing my things, which was amazing. Like, seeing pictures of my friends wearing my stuff was crazy. And then I know, because we have like a really nice gym in my house, so some of our friends come and train in our gym rather than going to commercial gyms. And like, one of my friends turned up in a t-shirt from my store, and I couldn't stop like squealing for like 5 minutes. I was like, ah! And he's like, okay, calm down. And I was like, ah! He's just like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, that's so cool, you're wearing Ozzie. And I was like holding Ozzie. I'm like, look, Ozzie, it's Ozzie. And it's like, whatever, because Ozzie is obviously a dog, so he doesn't care. But yeah, I was just like, oh my God, Sam, you're wearing my t-shirt. And now it's like getting to the stage when I'm seeing pictures of people I don't know wearing my stuff. And that's even like, it's wild. It's like, you actually bought this because you like it. You didn't like it because you didn't buy it because you like me. You bought it because you like the t-shirt, because you don't know me. So Like, why would you buy it because of me? It must be because you like the t-shirt. So it is quite wild. I'm just waiting for the day when I'm gonna run into someone I don't know wearing it. You know, I'm just gonna be in like vegan nights and I'll turn around and there's a girl wearing a hoodie with Ozzie or something, and I'm probably just gonna get a heart attack. Like,
I think for me personally, I think what's great about the products you sell is like the unique. You see a lot of like, you know, people selling shirts, especially obviously more for me and you probably because we're vegan, you know, seeing people selling vegan shirts and they just recycle copies of the same thing. What you sell is so like unique, and I think people see that and they just want something like that, don't they?
Yay. Yeah, I try. Because the thing is, I had this problem before. I wanted to wear things that would say go vegan, but I wanted to wear things that looked nice as well as saying go vegan. And you know, like all of like loads of the other brands are quite like cartoonish and stuff, and like quite like childish, and it's usually just like t-shirts or like not very nice hoodies. And I'm like, I'm proud to be that vegan who tells you first thing about herself that she's a vegan. Like, I think it's great. I don't understand why like it's great that you guys making a joke about it, but I don't see what's wrong with it. Like, whatever. So yeah, I want to wear things that say that I'm a vegan, and I want to start a conversations that you start when we're wearing these things, but I still want to look nice, which is kind of shallow, but also I kind of came with a solution for that now, so no one can complain, right? That I'm shallow. But yeah, so that's why doing it the way I'm doing it.
No, it's going very well, going very well. I think one thing that I've seen you mention, especially over the last couple of weeks, and I've never even heard of it before, I had to go research it, and I was thinking, I think a lot of people will have this, and I probably have this a lot, is imposter syndrome. And I'm guessing, I don't know how much of a part that played, you know, like you were saying with your friends, when your friends say, oh, that is a nice shirt, are they just saying it because they're your friends, or are they actually really good? You know, is that something that you struggled with? I know that you said that you struggled with imposter syndrome.
Honestly, like I struggle with everything in my life, you know, like it literally took in my like because before I did this, I was a wedding photographer, and the first, let's say, year and a half, I would get sick before every single wedding because I was just scared that people are going to hate the pictures and they're going to realize that they just fell in love with like a one nice picture or something, and they don't actually like my work. And obviously with weddings, you can't just go back and do it again. So, and the pictures are the only thing left after the wedding. So like it literally took until a girl flew me over to California to shoot her wedding there. That was the first time, and I was like, okay, I'm good. Like, it's time to admit that I'm good. But now with starting this, and obviously, you know, as I said, like this journey to it was so quick, and with like all these like arty things, so many people like go through years of training and years of like just drawing, and they might not make it, you know. So it's like sometimes I was like, why am I making it? Is it because I'm good, or is it because like I'm lucky, or what's happening? So yeah, I get quite like, I need to talk to myself a lot. I need to give myself quite a lot of pep talks and be like, come on, you deserve, you work hard. It doesn't matter if the journey took 20 years or 2 months. You are here, make the most out of it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I do struggle with it massively, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's everywhere.
It's something I've obviously, and similar to me with like I've always wanted to have a podcast, and I've always like doubted myself, saying similar to like what you were saying, like, oh, other people are doing it, look how well they're doing it, and I can't do it as well as them, so there's no point in me starting. And I never really thought of what it called, and then I read about imposter syndrome, and I'm like, that is it. And I never knew there were a name for it, and I bet a lot of people suffer from that and they don't actually know exactly what it is.
Because I think I did a poll, didn't I, on my Insta story, and I think that it was like 90% of people who voted said they do suffer with it, and only about 10 said that they don't. So it's quite interesting to see that most of us feel like it. It's not just like, oh, I'm this weird person who thinks that like everyone's going to find out that I'm just an imposter, that I shouldn't be here, that I'm not good enough, I'm just pretending, and you guys kind of don't see through it. But yeah, it's actually all of us have it in some ways. So yeah,
you can come across a lot of people come across so positive, but really you don't know what's lying inside here of like of negativity and things like that. You know, I found it hard to deal with and stuff, and I'm sure loads of people have, but it's just battling through it, innit, and having good people around you, really, I'd say.
Exactly. You know what, I genuinely just feel like fake it till you make it works a lot with this, right? Just try, like, sometimes when these things really hit me, I just think, what would person who's really confident do in this situation? And then I do it. And so often, like, honestly, so often, like, people normally tell me, like, when I'm like, what did you think about me the moment you met me? Like, what were a couple of things you would just, like, straight away, they're like, oh, that you are so confident. I was so jealous of how confident you are. And I'm like, dude, like, not at all, man. Like, I question everything. Like, everything. And they're like, I would have never known. Like, but yeah, it is the fake it till you make it. So I think just pretending until it comes naturally one day and you actually start thinking that way. Because it is like for me with the wedding photography, because I try to come across as someone who's really confident in my abilities, and now I know I'm a really, really good wedding photographer. Like, and I know that sometimes people, like, when you say that, people are like, ooh, modest much, and I'm like, okay, who am I going to help by saying I'm not? Like, why would I say that I'm not good at this when I am? Like, is it so you could feel better about yourself, or why? And then they're like, oh, it's actually a good point. So can you hear Ozzie? He's like, yeah, so it's like, with that, it did actually just pretending for so long got me to the stage, and now I'm like, I'm good, and I'm happy to admit it. So yeah, that's my way to power through.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being confident and saying that you're good at something. If you believe it gets your confidence way up. And I think as well, when you've got good people around you, and they say nice comments about it, you know, rather than, that's why it's just so much nicer to be nice, isn't it? And you can boost everyone up because everyone should be able to succeed in life, you know. But when you've got people putting people down, it's just, I just don't get it myself, you know. It's something that I've never understand. Why would you want to put someone down, you know?
Oh, I agree. And it's obviously other topic, but it's like, yeah, it's just, it gets to me a lot when, like, people I don't know say something nasty about, like, I've had a couple nasty comments on Facebook about a store, and like, I was really upset, like, way more than I would like to admit, you know, because I had like hundreds of people telling me how great it is and how much they love my things, and, you know, I obviously have people like talking to me every day, like, I have people wearing my things, and then you have 3 people who say horrible thing, and I'm here like, is it all shit, crying my eyes out, and like, my housemate's like hugging me, he's like, it's okay, it's just a bad comment, it's just a troll, and I'm like, but is it true? Like, are you just saying it's good because you like me? But yeah, it's like, yeah, I don't understand the need to be negative and nasty. Like, why?
Yeah, it's amazing how, like, you can have 100 good comments and that one bad one can change your mentality completely, isn't it? But that's where you've just got to, like you said, you just got to believe in yourself, and even also if you feel like you're failing, you just got to keep continuing. That's where a lot of people can be really good at something, and as soon as they have a negative comment or something goes wrong, and they quit, and it's like, but it's one of them things that mentally, you know, like, it's so hard to, me and you speaking now, we can say how easy it is, but everyone's different out there. But that's where the support comes in. You've got to support people, and that can get them through it, in my opinion. So I've got to bring up one design that you've done just recently, that owl one. That is amazing. That owl one.
Thank you. Thanks.
That
I'm
looks
like
like a
so
lot of
happy
time.
you guys like it. Like it took me so long.
Looks like a lot of time.
Yeah, so I want to do 5 of those. So obviously I have the horse, I have the owl, I done a shark and parrot that you guys haven't seen yet. And I'm deciding on the 5th one. And then it's gonna go on the website. Because yeah, I know that like few people ask to have it also as like a prints for like the walls and stuff rather than just on a clothing. So, which I think will look really nice. But yeah, I want to finish the fifth one, and really, yeah, it's hard for me to decide which other animal to do because it does take me like 4, 5, 6 hours to do one of those. So, and you literally sit here like, come on, I can't see in the end, literally holding my eyes open and just still doing it. So yeah, but yeah, thank you. I'm happy like.
Yeah, I find it amazing when I see drawings like that because I'm a very bad drawer. It's not one of my skills, definitely not. I remember when I used to I say when I used to draw in school, the drawing is still the same now. I used to draw dogs and they didn't even have necks. I don't even know what happened to them. They just escaped with them. It was just unbelievable. So when I see someone drawing that's so good like that, I stand up and applaud because I know how hard it is because I can't do it. It's very hard.
Thank you. But yeah, thanks. It means a lot because yeah, as I say, I was so shit at drawings before. So actually having people saying like this again, it's surreal. It's like, did I like go for a nap and wake up in like a different like universe? Am I in like a different multiverse where I can draw? Like is like is it like into the Spider-Verse sort of situation? Like I'm in the same Southampton, but I'm not me. Like yeah, it's strange. So yeah, thank you. It means a lot.
Do you just draw on paper and then transfer onto? I'm guessing you use your Mac, do you, or is it just straight on?
Yeah, so I have my drawing tablet.
Wow.
So yeah, I have that. Sorry, I'll just put you away from my thingy. Yeah, I have that, which is what I draw on. Which is it's a bit funny because obviously you drew on the like tablet, but you're looking at it on the screen.
Yeah.
So sometimes you are like you're trying to like turn it around because you're a bit like, oh, it needs to go this way, or it needs to go this way, and you're like, I don't know what's happening. So yeah, it's great. It's strange to get used to it.
I've seen them on the like on adverts on TV, and I'm looking at it and thinking, that looks like I could draw now, but I'm guessing it's exactly the same as drawing, isn't it? It looks like I might be able to do it, but then I'm like, no, it's probably just the same as drawing. I'm probably going to draw dogs with no necks.
I mean, like if you know Photoshop and stuff, yeah, you can kind of not draw and then still do something well. You can fix things without actually having to draw them. So, but yeah, you do need to know Photoshop or some of these programs to know what you are actually doing. But yeah, it's good fun. Like I enjoy it. I wish I had more time to do it because it's, you know, when I started this, I was like, oh, I'm gonna have this shop and I'm gonna keep drawing like new designs and it's gonna be great. And like I had in my head this idea of like when everything's great and I have this amazing boyfriend and I have like 2 dogs. I have Ozzie and other dog, and it's like Christmas time and we are like snuggling on like the sofa and I'm like drawing new designs. And then you find out that you actually get to draw new designs like maybe like once a month, and all the other time you have to do all the other things that have nothing to do with drawing. And you're like, yeah, that idea is not gonna happen. Like that image is just dreamland. That's not how these things work. But again, it's like a learning curve.
Because obviously you've got so many things. You've got like you, which is awesome. I've never seen this before. The big pets, like thingy.
Mighty Boss, yes.
Mighty Boss, that's the one.
Mighty Boss, yeah. The Mighty Boss was like it started because before Ozzie, I had other stuff he called Jim, and Jim was just a foster dog. So we didn't actually adopt him. We were fostering him, and the idea was that if he needs a vet care, the rescue pays for the vet care. So my ex was like, let's not adopt him because no one wants him because he's old. and we don't need to pay for a vet. It's a great solution. So we were like fostering him, everything's fine. And then one day he had this like a horrible seizure. Like, luckily I knew what it was, what seizure looked like, because if I didn't, I would think he was dying. But I like rushed him to the vets. They were like close to ours. And I was like, I'll just pay for this like quick emergency checkup and give him some whatever to get him better. And then I'll take him to the other vets from the rescue. But then the rescue was like, oh, well, he's about 8. He never had a seizure, so it's probably a brain tumor and we can't afford it, so we will have to put him down. So they were like, well, we'll pay for that, but we're not going to pay for anything else. So I was like, well, no, he's my dog, he's my baby. I'm not putting my dog down. So obviously I had to start paying for everything, but it costs like £10,000 to have like radiotherapy or chemo or surgery, which I couldn't afford at that point. So I knew I only had a couple months left, because the only thing we could do was just put him on a medication and just make the rest of his life as nice as possible, but there was nothing else really I could have done. So I was like, well, I have a couple months left. Like, they were like 6 to 10 weeks, they told me initially. And I was like, I need to take loads of nice pictures of him, because that's what I do. That's my job. I'm a photographer. Like, I shouldn't have just pictures on my iPhone, right? And then I was just thinking about what to do. And then I was like, oh my God, what if I Photoshop him as big as how much I love him? Like, you know, he's the love of my life. So I did like the first one, and then everyone loved it. So for like a couple of days, every day I would do a new one. And then we ended up having like 6 months with him or something like that, maybe a little bit longer. But Mighty Boss, I used to call it Jimbo back then, because like a jumbo Jim, so Jimbo. And when he died, I was like, okay, I'll let the Jimbo die with Jim. But then like my friends started messaging me, we were like, we really miss these pictures, and obviously you have Ozzie and you could do it for other people, and others were like, could you like do it with my dogs? So it took a while. It took about 2 years, but then I just it got back from the ashes. It got reborn as the Mighty Paws. And now Mighty Paws, it's still, the idea is there to show how much we love our dogs and other pets. But yeah, it's like it's such a fun project for me. I love doing it. It's so much fun.
Yeah, I know it's no, they're really cool. I think I would, like, my wife would love one, so I think I'd definitely get her one. She's probably going to watch this now, so it's not going to be a surprise or anything now. So, but she's very similar to you. She loves dogs, and she loves our dog so much. And if she could, just have a picture on every single wall all the way around the house, if she could. That's how much she loves dogs.
Yeah, literally. Like, when I'm once finally settled somewhere forever, and I'm not moving every half year or something like that, I will genuinely, like, I just want an entire wall of like quite small, like 20 centimeters to 20 centimeters square tiles of just pictures of my dogs, nothing else. Like the entire wall from like the floor to the ceiling. Like, that's my idea of heaven.
I think we have a picture frame downstairs, and it's got a picture of our dog, her mum and dad's dog, her sister's dog, her friend's dog. It's got a picture of every single dog that she knows in the picture. That's how much she loves dogs.
They're so cute. Yeah, that's like something I would do. Yeah, like, love it. Actually love it.
So one of the main reasons I got you on is because you are a vegan. And you're awesome, obviously.
Thanks. Obviously.
But, so I think you're a similar boat to me, but how long have you been vegan?
3 years. Just a little bit over. 3 years and a month or something like that.
Yeah, I think when we talked before, I think you were similar to me. Were you vegan and then stopped and then you went vegan, or have you always been vegan?
No, so I was a veggie when I was a teenager for quite a while. And then when I moved to England, when I moved to Paris, I kind of ate a little bit of meat. Not much though, it's cheese everywhere there anyway. And then when I moved to England, I started eating meat again, like more than ever before. Because like when I was a kid, I didn't like meat, I only ate chicken as a kid. But yeah, when I moved here, I started eating burgers and everything. So yeah, and then I was for a bit pescatarian, but when I broke my leg, like I broke my ankle really badly, I just craved meat. It was really weird. Like, yeah, my ex was like, he came home one day because I was like unable to move at all. Like I was not allowed to do anything with my leg. It was really bad. And he came home and he's like, "You okay?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "What's up?" I'm like, "I really want a burger." And he's like, "Oh, veggie man." And I'm like, "No, like a burger." And he's like, "Huh?" So yeah, so I started eating meat properly back then. And then yeah, one day I just was like, nah. And went vegan and haven't eaten anything non-vegan since, other than accidentally, obviously, because all of us make a mistake every here and there, or get served something or whatever. So yeah, that was it. Overnight, from meat eater straight to vegan. So yeah.
Yeah, I think I, 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 I understand why people preach and get right in your face and say, "Oh, if you know you're doing wrong, you should be vegan straight away. There's no other thing." But I think people get there in different ways. You know, like I'm similar to you. Like I was vegan for a bit. Then when things are going on in your life, like for me personally, I went kind of off the rails, I suppose, and like started eating meat. And then the second time, I realised, what am I doing? And I became vegan, and I feel like I'm in a better place to be vegan now. And like I don't know for a fact now that I will never touch it again. I'll never touch meat or dairy again. I'll be absolutely fine. But and I think that's important. So people get there differently, and I'm not a massive fan of people who I understand it why people push, but I think it's some people it's better to get there in the right way, in my opinion, anyway.
I agree. I think that all of the approaches have their kind of audience. You know, there are definitely some people who do like this whole like, you need to go vegan right now or you are an asshole. If you don't go, you murderer. I hate you. Like, I think that the number of these people is very, very, very small, but they exist. Like, I know I've seen people comment like on these posts when people are like, "Oh, you are being counterproductive with this approach," and then like, "No, they are not, because I went vegan because of one of the posts where they call me out on being like hypocrite or whatever." So yeah, but I do agree. I'd rather let you can't. I don't think you can force people. I think you can give them all the information they need. You can talk to them when they are ready, and you can help them. You can make it really easy for them, because yeah, it's nice when you have someone who's already done the whole journey and can be like, "Hey, which vegan cheese is actually nice?" or which like butter is actually nice, or whatever, you know, like you just, yeah, it's nice to have this like entire support network or whatever of these things. So
Not many good
yeah.
cheeses out there, is there? Not many good cheeses. Vegan cheese, in my opinion.
No, I mean, like, there are a few I really like. I really like the matcha cheddar from Wildlife. Is it Wildlife? It's Wildlife, right? Yeah, I actually just munch on that now, even without like having to, I don't know, melt it.
Yeah.
So
I think it would probably be harder for me because I was never a massive cheese fan, you know, especially the mature ones. But I think the one that I do use now is, I think it's the Applewood one.
yeah,
That one's really good.
everyone likes that one now, don't they?
I
Like,
do
yeah.
eat real life ones, but I don't. I think it's the smell that puts me off worse. It smells like feet.
What?
If you ever smell it, open it up and smell real life and stuff, it smells like feet.
That's strange. I never noticed that, and I hope I'm not gonna start noticing it now because of you. Like, I hope you just didn't destroy viral life for me.
I apologize.
Great. But yeah, it's, I do understand that some people don't like it, but even, you know, even if there's no vegan cheese, I still think that would be nice. I still think it's like small price to pay, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know, like, obviously, you're always in your gym by the looks of it on Instagram, always working out. Do you eat? Do you try and eat like as healthy as possible, or can you just just give in with the junk food? Because for me, I go to the gym, and I just can't help myself with junk food. I try and say weekend only, but it never
Yeah.
happens.
I'm like, Look, I go through stages, right? I'm like, I would say that on average, I'm about 60% healthy and 40% not healthy. Like, it's not, I don't think that I eat like as much junk food, but it's just that I don't eat exactly healthy food.
Yeah.
You know, I'd eat a lot of like sandwiches. I eat a lot, I love carbs. So I would eat a lot of pasta and quite often not really put much vegetables in. You know, like just have like a pasta with like a nice tomato sauce and I'm happy. Like I don't need to put some broccoli or peas or whatever in. So yeah, my food is not as good as my training, I think. Like I definitely train harder than make sure I eat well. If that makes sense. But yeah, I'm not like, yeah, I wouldn't order like Domino's every Saturday or something like that. Like I don't really do takeaways or eat out anyway recently. It just, I hate going out the last couple of months. It's just a horrible atmosphere. I'd rather be at home. So yeah, I'll try. But I do go through times when I'm like, okay, I haven't been feeling well. Let's make sure that like I eat well, 90% or something. And then after like 3 weeks when I feel great, I'm like, fine, let's go back to sandwiches. Like,
I think what you said, like what you said there, I think everything that I like goes between bread, and that's the downfall of the bread.
honestly, it's the same. Like I could, well, we have now at home, you know, these like a bake at home baguettes,
Yeah.
like the warm ones. Um, we now have 10 of those at home in the freezer because I said to my housemate that I think that I could eat all 10 of them in one go. I genuinely think I can do it. So we gotta do a competition. Or it's not even a competition because we didn't even bet for anything. It's just that he doesn't think that I could and I think that I can. So I have 10 baguettes here to show him that I can just eat with like a bit of flora buttery. So, and I genuinely think I'm gonna do it. At least 8. Like I'm at least gonna go through 8. I'm like sure about it.
I think that's what my wife says. My problem is like if we buy something, I always have to have more than I should eat. It's like when we go to Subway, go to Subway and get a meatless meatball marinara. A normal person would get a 6 inch or a foot long. I have to get two. I have to get 2 foot longs. I can't help myself. I need more. And I think it's because like really, I think they say like obviously you eat and then just wait half an hour and then you'll feel full. But I can't. I need to eat constantly. I think that's my downfall. Just constantly eating.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 2 foot longs is quite a bit of food. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I always go for foot long. I kind of judge people who get like 6 inch. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you on a diet? Like, why are you not eating? Like, I remember once I went to my favorite pizza place at an Empiretta to Franco Manca, and they have this amazing garlic bread, right? So like, and me and my ex would always like when we went first time, we each got a pizza and then we shared a garlic bread. And then the next time we went, he's like, so do you want to share the garlic bread again? Staring at me. And I'm like, I mean, I'm quite hungry. And he's like, okay, cool. So we each getting our own garlic bread. And I'm like, yeah, fine. So since then, we always had like each garlic bread and each pizza. And I remember once there was a couple sitting next to us and they shared one pizza. That was it. I don't think I've ever judged anyone this hard in my entire life. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you eating just a half a pizza? Like, what's your problem? Like, why? He was like, calm down. It's not your issue. Like,
I think for me, if I get a full pizza, if I'm not eating it, I'm happy I've got a full pizza because I get to take some home for later or the next day. That's my mindset.
brilliant. Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's never like I would actually have to take it home because I always finish it. But yeah, understandably, yeah, I get it.
I think with you being vegan for 3 years now, I bet you've seen a massive change in the stuff that you can get in supermarkets and things now. I feel like it's just so easy now. I don't understand why. I just the things that I eat at home, I'm eating them, and I just me and my wife look at each other and go, why? What's the excuse? It's just so easy, and the things are so nice now. It's such an easy transition.
Yeah, It's like I genuinely feel like now the problem is that there's too much. You know, it takes you ages to decide what you're gonna buy because you don't want to spend £500 on a weekly food shop. You're not gonna eat because you just bought £500 worth of food. So you just stand there and you're like, oh, which ones of these sausages I get? Because there's like 15 different types. Like it's just it's quite frustrating when people don't see it. When people are like, oh, I just need to buy this chicken. I'm like, just buy the vegan chicken. It tastes the same. And it's not going to kill you. It's not going to kill the planet. And it's not going to kill the chicken. Like, why is this even a conversation?
I feel like when we, as well, for me personally, when I became vegan and after thinking, my mindset was better. I just felt better. You know, I felt better about myself. You know, like while I was eating it. You know, obviously I'm not better than other people, but I just felt better than other people as well at the same time. You know, but it just felt
I'm
good.
superior. I'm a vegan. FYI. Yeah.
I wasn't going to go shouting that out loud or anything to everyone else, but I did generally think I feel good about myself. I'm awesome.
Yeah, no, I get it because you are awesome. So I feel like, yeah, but it's quite funny. Like, you know, when people are like, "Oh, you vegans need to get off your high horse," and I'm like, "No, we don't." No, because we are better than you. Sorry. Like,
Especially the I feel if you give a meat eater the Beyond Burger, I don't know if you ever tried the Beyond Burger. It's the best thing I've ever tasted. It's so much better than when I've had beef burgers in the past. You know, because obviously everyone, well, not everyone, but I was eating meat because I love the taste. But and the taste will always be nice. But when you realise what you're doing, like you said, to the environment, and like how many animals you know you're killing and stuff, and then when you get this, and it's like this is actually better than meat. You know, it's so good.
I actually tricked my friends with the Beyond Burgers before. So when I was in LA, I stayed with my friend Dan, who's from Devon, but his two housemates are from Minnesota and Texas. So like it's two super like meat like states, right? Like Texas is all about barbecue and stuff. And the last night, bear in mind, they all giving me shit for the entire week for being vegan, right? So the last night I was like, oh hey guys, like I brought you like burgers for letting me stay and being nice and like you are great and thank you for like being the best like guides of LA, blah blah blah. And I get on the burgers and they like start eating them and they're like, oh, these are really nice. Where did you get them from? And I'm like, oh, there's this little food truck around the corner, like 10 minutes from here. And they were like, these are really great. Like, we're going to go back. And then Dan, like, they were like halfway through the burgers. And Dan's like, why do you look so smug? And I'm like, I don't look smug. What are you talking about? And he's like, no, you definitely look smug. And I'm like, no, absolutely don't understand what you're talking about. And yeah, then he's like, wait a second, it's a vegan burger, isn't it? And I was like, yes, it is. And yeah, they were like, you know what, we gave you shit for the entire week, but we could not tell. They were like, these were actually really nice burgers. And they all said that they're going to eat them again. So yeah, I definitely tricked people before with
That's the first time I tried it in America. I tried it in Seattle when I was over there. I could not believe the taste. We didn't have anything like that over in the UK. And I was like, they need these in the UK immediately. And then when they finally came over, it was like Christmas. It was like Christmas. It was bought like so many straight away.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I was so happy when it finally got here. I mean, it's not as great when it's frozen and like it's the whole like, you know, when it's on the barbecue and someone else makes it for you, it tastes better. But yeah, it's I'm still happy that they are here finally.
Yeah, they're really nice on the barbecue. When you I know like obviously you were a vegetarian before. Was that just because you didn't like meat, or was it the fact that you just didn't like animals as well?
It was like I used to horse ride when I was a kid, and I had my horse stabled in a stand stable. So every summer we would have a hog roast at the stables. So yeah, the first year I was fine, but the second year they actually bought a pig live, and we had a pig in the stables for about a month or 3 weeks a month, and like we all grew to really really love him. And then yeah, then the day came, and I could, like, it was so strange, because first of all, the horses were just like not okay that day. Like, they knew something bad is about to go down. And yeah, I've never, it was like a panic among the horses, right? Because the pig was actually stabled in one of the boxes. So they were used to the pig being in the same stable. And it was not even like happening yet. There was no one there, but all the horses are just behaving like crazy. Like, they know some shit is going to go down soon. And then when they killed the pig, yeah, all the horses were just absolutely nuts. Like, some of them look like they're gonna take the boxes down, the doors down and stuff. And yeah, after that I was like, never eating meat again. This is horrendous. You know, like, this pig we named and took care of for like 3 weeks is just hanging there, and I'm like, I'm not eating this. And yeah, like, I think that all of us who like had our horses there that weren't just like a guest, I think all of us actually went veggie that day.
Really?
Because we were like, yeah, we all were like, this is, yeah, this, I can't be part of this. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to eat any other pig or chicken or cow or whatever. Like, no.
I think that's the frustrating part for me, when you see people who love like dogs, who don't see the animals the other way as well. You know, like, it's when you try and make them realise as well, it's so hard, isn't it, to make them understand that all the animals are the same. You know, like, anything can be a pet, and anything has feelings and stuff. You can love anything. So, but it's a hard thing to get across to people sometimes.
It is, I know, and it's like, yeah, it's just so sad. It's like, my housemate, he's not vegan, and he loves animals, right? It's like, Ozzie's a bit of a moron, and he keeps like trying to go for hedgehogs, so he's not allowed in the garden after dark, because the hedgehogs come out in the garden after dark. But a couple of times, 2 times now, he actually got hold of a hedgehog, and like, Steve would be like inconsolable. He'd be like, we taking this poor little hedgie to the vets because it's like bleeding, because he like grabbed it, and he's like crying. He's like, oh, his poor little hedgie. And I'm like, you literally just had a ham sandwich. Like, what? How? And I'm like, I just don't understand this. I just don't understand how you can eat ham and be okay about it. And then like an hour later, you're crying your eyes out over a hedgehog that's, by the way, survived. You know, like, that's fine. Like, what? How does this work? Like, why do you know? It's not even that you love dogs only or cats only. Like, you like all the animals when you see them, but completely different when you don't have to, like, yeah, just face them yourself.
I think that's where you've just got to hope that they get there in the end, don't you? You know, like everyone, like we said earlier, everyone gets there differently. You know, we just hope that they get there eventually.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. With some people it's probably not gonna happen. And I feel like it's sad. Like, he definitely started eating way more vegan food. Like, he gets really excited when he learns a new meal with I don't know, he learned scrambled tofu the other day. He was so happy about it. So like, yay. Or like a sausage casserole with a vegan sausage instead of normal sausage. But then you just see him eating cheap ham, and you're like, why? Like, don't do it.
I think my wife went vegan first, and like, I used to eat anything. I wasn't bothered. So it's when she was cooking vegan stuff, and I just eat it. And then all of a sudden, it was like, I might as well just. I put 2 and 2 together and thought, well, I'm already there, so I might as well go fully there. And we did. So maybe just keep feeding him, keep giving him that vegan food and stuff and everything.
You know what? It's like, there was like, when I moved here, I think we had about 2 months when I was cooking all his meals, because I was like training him, and I was cooking for him, and I was trying to get him in shape, and he was doing really well. And then I was like, look, I'm getting kind of really like busy with the store and other things, so I can't keep cooking for you 3 meals a day. And that's when he started slipping back to not being a vegan. And yeah, and then you just see him like, and it's because he gets his food delivered, and you just see how every single shopping is like less and less vegan, and you're like, ugh, like shame. Like you were doing so well. You were like 95% vegan, and now it's maybe like 60. And it just, yeah, it's just a bit annoying. It's just be like, you were doing so well, but unfortunately, I'm not your mate, and I have other things to do than just cook for you. So, yeah.
I've got a nice question for you now. I don't like it's one of them where 50-50, I'd say. Like I'm not sure. I've asked a few people. Obviously, you've got Ozzie now, and obviously, if the dog was in a wild, it would hunt and eat meat. And obviously, a lot of other people, if they're vegan, feed their dogs a vegan diet. Do you still feed Ozzie meat, or?
No, Ozzie's vegan as well. Well, yeah. So Ozzie's on vegan food. He's got like whatever I buy him is vegan. He seems like he just got a new vegan food because his normal one was sold out across the entire UK. I couldn't find it anywhere in any store, so I had to buy a different one. And I've never seen him eat this much in my entire life, like since I've known him. Like he's the dog that has his food out all day and just munches on it when he wants to. But he's actually been finishing this food as soon as he gets it. So he really, really, really likes it, which he's never done with any food he had before, because I had him on a normal meat. Like he normally always had like a salmon or chicken. So yeah, it's the first time when he finishes his bowl as soon as he gets food. And yeah, he seems to be thriving on it. So he's on a vegan diet, but if we are like out in a pub or something and someone's like, oh, I have a little bit of a burger, can I give it to your dog? I don't stop them. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like I didn't pay for it. So yeah, obviously if he was not doing well, I would think about it. But because he seems to be thriving on vegan diet, I absolutely don't see a reason not to have him on it. So
how long's he been on it for now? Has he been on it for a while?
He got the first one when we moved here, which was May. So since May.
You might have to give me some tips, because me and my wife have been thinking the same thing. But it's like, that's what I mean when I was saying it's like that, you know, because obviously you're thinking, you know, what if the dog was in the wild, he'd be eating mostly like, well, obviously probably whatever's out there if he's a dog, but he would be eating meat. But obviously with us being vegan, we're buying meat to feed him. But we'll try to do the research, and I'm guessing it just depends on the dog. Like you said, if Ozzie wasn't thriving, then you'd have to maybe go and check.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, I bought him so many like vegan brands before, and he wouldn't eat any of it. So I got rid of it and just fed him his normal food. But then when I was looking for a new place, I went to have a look at a room in London where the guy had to move back to Israel for lockdown, and he left his dog food there, which was vegan. And he just went over to him and started sniffing. I was like, can I give him some? They were like, yeah, sure. And he started eating it. And I'm like, what just happened? Like, this is probably the only brand I didn't try. So I ordered it as soon as I moved. And yeah, he loved it one, but the new one he loves even more. It's crazy. Honestly, I've never, like, even my housemate knows him. He knows what he's like. And he got this new food. And the first half an hour, he was like, nah. And I was like, come on, Ozzie, try it. Because, like, I ran out of his food because obviously it was nowhere to be found across the whole UK. And, like, it literally arrived the day when I finished this normal old food. And I'm like, you need to eat this because there's nothing else. Like, I might go and get you new food tomorrow, but you're going to be hungry if you don't eat tonight. And then, yeah, after like half an hour, he started eating it, and suddenly he like cleaned the entire bowl. And like Steve was like, what the hell? Like, I've never seen him do that before. And I'm like, me neither. Like, what just happened? And yeah, since then, like, I actually have to, for the first time ever, watch how much food he's getting. Because before I had to like watch that he's getting enough because he wasn't finishing his food. But now I'm like, did I give him 2 scoops or 3 scoops today? Because he just pretends to be really hungry. Like, where's the game today?
Yeah, you'll have to send me over some information on that so I can look at it. I'd appreciate that.
I will. I definitely will.
I also noticed that obviously on your account that obviously you have an amazing weight loss journey. Is that all through vegan as well, or is that?
Yeah, no. I was chunky even as a vegan. Yeah, It's a, you know, when people are like, oh, you're gonna lose all the weight when you go vegan. Yeah, no, definitely not. I definitely gained some weight when I went vegan and then lost it. I didn't really realize how big I got. It's you know, it's one of those I kind of kept thinking I'm like size 10, but I was like size 16. So yeah, I was just like, what's going on? So yeah, so it took a while, a lot of calorie counting and just lifting weights.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely be a chunky vegan. Like it doesn't mean you're gonna lose weight just because you went vegan. Because I mean, Oreos are vegan and chili heat wave Doritos. So and bread. As you said, like if you eat like a 10 bacon home baguettes, it doesn't matter they are vegan, does it? So
Another,
but
another thing that I want to bring up, because I've never heard of this either until you mentioned it the other day, and I don't know if I'm even pronouncing it right. Is it Reiki?
Reiki. 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 Yeah, it's Reiki. So yeah, that's my
What is it?
what is it?
I've
It's
never heard of it.
it's magic. I do magic with my hands. Yeah, so it's like a ancient, I'm gonna say Japanese healing technique. I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. It's either Chinese or Japanese, but I'm pretty sure it's Japanese. Yeah, it's essentially like you direct a positive energy into areas of your body that need it. So it can be a physical pain or it can be a mental pain. Because the idea is right, because I read so many books about these things. I'm pretty sure this is now like universally accepted thing is that everything is just energy and vibration, right? And like all matter just vibrates at a different frequency. That's the word I'm looking for. So if you are like a really high one or whatever, it creates a matter. So yeah, it is literally just like directing a good stuff into where things are not as good.
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy. I didn't believe it at all. I got into it when I broke my leg and I healed so much more quicker than they expected me to. But then after like half a year after I started walking again, I started being in so much pain that I cried for about 3 weeks every single day. And I went to the doctors and they were like, yeah, we will have to like remove all the like plates and screws you have in your ankle, but you'll have to go back in the walking boot and you'll have to go back through a physio and you'll have to go back through like not being able to walk for a while. And I was like, I can't do that because at this point I was already working as a wedding photographer. And obviously if you can't walk, you can't work. So I'm like sitting at home crying in pain. And then my friend Hannah, who was a Reiki master, she was like, let me do Reiki on you. And I'm like, no, it's bullshit. And she's like, no, it's not. And I'm like, yes, it is. And she's like, no, it's not. And she literally had to bribe me with food. She was like, I'll come around and do Reiki and I'll bring you lunch. And I was like, okay then. I think it was like a Ragamamas or something. She was also the person who kind of turned me vegan. But yeah, so she came around, did Reiki with me, and it was just such a weird experience because you like lie down and then the Reiki person, the therapist is like, has their arms or their hands above you and just like goes across your entire body, but don't really touch you, right? It's like a couple of inches above your body. And when somewhere is bad and somewhere is pain or whatever, it just gets really hot and it feels crazy because it can actually feel like they are touching you. Because like I knew exactly where her hands were even I was like half asleep because she was doing like the treatment for about an hour. And funnily enough, she also knew exactly that I was going through other issues. She was like, yeah, your leg is fucked. They needed a lot of like the healing. I was like, it was so hard when you were doing the ankle. And she was like, she was like, what's wrong with you and your boyfriend? I'm like, what do you mean? Nothing's wrong with me and my boyfriend. We just moved in together. And she's like, no. She's like, I could feel your heart being in a bad place. And obviously, knowing you, the only thing that would do this is your boyfriend. And I was like, how the fuck did you know this? Like, I was like, this is the time and I'm in like a honeymoon period, but I didn't tell anyone, but she knew. And yeah, and then I woke up in the morning and the pain was gone. Like it literally disappeared overnight. And I was like, oh shit, like what just happened? Like I'm walking. like yesterday I was literally thinking about having to go for a surgery, and suddenly like I'm absolutely fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I kept having Reiki on me, and then when the ghosts were ill, because both Jim and Ozzie were ill, they kept having Reiki by someone else. And then I just did my training so I could do Reiki on Ozzie myself. So that's what I do now, and on other animals.
Did it take long to do the training? Is it
No. I actually did like only an online one,
wow.
and you need to have this like an attunement where the master sort of opens you for this. And the lady who did the training, she actually wasn't available for like a couple months, but I knew that one of my other friends is a Reiki master, and I was like, hey, can you do this for me? And it was really weird because she was like, okay, so you sit down at the same time, we'll just both relax, and I'll do it from far away. She's in like somewhere in America, I don't even know in which state. Hi, Ozzie. And it was really weird because when she was doing it, I just felt like someone was holding my shoulders, right? That someone was like sitting behind me and had their hands here. And you can hear Ozzie, yeah. And then she messaged me after. She was like, how do you feel? She was like, did you feel my hands on your shoulders? And I'm like, what the fuck? Yes, I did. Like, this was so weird. Shut up.
No worries. my staff is actually the same. If you don't feel he's getting enough attention, he'll come and get it.
Literally, yeah. Please love me. Yeah, hi Ozzie. Yes.
So, like, obviously, I noticed that you said as well that you obviously do Reiki on Reiki. Is that? I will get it right on Ozzie, and I saw that you said that his paw licking had stopped a lot more, and I didn't actually know that was like an anxiety thing. So obviously, my staff, he licks his paws a lot. I thought he was just cleaning himself, to be honest with you. But like, and you were saying that there were like wet patches around the house, which you get because you were just licking so much. And I didn't actually know it was like. It made me think when you said
I don't know if it's all the time, but I do know that it's like a sign of anxiety, and it's really strange because Ozzie, you would never think that it's a dog with anxiety because he's just so outgoing and like loves attention and loves being around you all the time. But when he feels like it, he just walks off and like go sleep upstairs or whatever if I'm down here. So yeah, it's it doesn't have to be it, but it can. So but definitely like since I started doing Reiki on him every single night, it didn't stop completely, but it's like way less, like so much less frequent than it used to be before. So hopefully
might be another thing, another tip that you give as to when you look into, because like Bailey, he licks his paws so much, and like I said, I just thought he was just cleaning himself, but then you noticed the wet patch, and they were like, it's a lot of licking. And then you went and I saw that you're ready, I'm like, interesting.
Maybe, yeah, it's just like snuggled to me now. Yeah, it's you never know, right? That's the thing with them. They can't tell you what's the problem if they just want to have clean hands, or if they are having like an issue with something. So yeah, you never know.
Big baby.
He is a big baby. He's like proper snuggled now. He's like, please love me.
And before I let you leave, I've got to ask you two things. I saw on Instagram today that you posted the 8 facts about yourself, and two that obviously a lot of them stood out, but two that stood out is that you used to work on movie sets or movie stars.
Yeah. When my with my horse, when I had my horse in the stunt stable, well, first I got to work on Anne Frank movie because I went to a Jewish school, and they came to our school to have a look for extras, but then they found out that I look like Anne Frank more than the girl who was playing Anne Frank, so I kind of became her double. So in the movie you have a lot of like shots of my back and my hair and my arm. So when they like tattoo her in Auschwitz, that's my arm and stuff like that. It's quite funny.
Wow.
And and then when I got my horse in the stunt stable, I just helped on sets with horses. So when I think when I was like 12, I in the summer, I used to help on Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger, which was amazing. And yeah, I'm like, even if I like wouldn't necessarily work on the set, sometimes I would just go to like grab something from the guys or like grab something for them. And like once, I think I was about 15 at this point, I was going to grab, like, I was having some paperwork one of the guys needed. So I'm like going, because the stables was in the Barrandov studio, which is the main studios in Prague, where all the big movies are shot, because it's so much cheaper than anywhere else in the world, really. And I'm just like walking to this set, and I look up, and there's Sean Connery, and he's like, "Good morning, my lady," and I was like, "Morning!" And I literally run around the corner, and I started screaming, and I called my mom, I'm like, "Mom, Sean Connery just said good morning, my lady," to me. I was in hysterics. Like, I didn't work with him, but he spoke to me. So yeah, that's my claim to fame. That was great teenage years.
Yeah,
really.
Sounds amazing. And the other one that stood out to me even more, I'd say, I'm sure meeting Sean Connery was absolutely fantastic, is that your auntie has 7 Olympic gold medals.
Yeah.
What is the discipline?
Gymnastics. So
Gymnastics.
so she was the first ever gymnast who got a golden medal in every single discipline in the same year. In 1968 in Mexico. Yeah, she's dead now, but she was like a massive celebrity back home. Like, it's like my family life, I genuinely feel like I should sell my family life story as like a script for like a big Hollywood movie. Like, we go through crazy things in my family. Like, my mom always says that we are a bit like a Greek, like Greek stories, because our highs are so high and our lows are so low. So yeah, Auntie was pretty special with her 7 golden medals. I think 3 in 1964 and 4 in 1968. Then she wasn't allowed to come back to Czech because it was the year when like Russians took over our country. And this is like a crazy story, right? So when she, like, one of the discipline, she went into the final round like winning, or maybe I think maybe tying with the other girl who was Russian, who was from Soviet Union. And then like she done so well, so she was like obviously first. The second girl like didn't do as well, so she was second. And then like the referees or whatever who decides this went back and amended the score of the second girl, of the girl from Soviet Union, from the previous round, from like the semi-final round. So they tied for the first place in the end.
Yeah.
So they both had to go on like the steps for the winners. And obviously they play on national anthem. And they played first the Czech one. So like my auntie standing there like all super proud, like head held high. Bear in mind, it is like 3 weeks after like the tanks just rolled into Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia from Soviet Union. So it's like a really horrible time. And then they played the Russian national anthem, and she like looked down to the side, and there's a video of it on YouTube, and you can hear the like it's from I think Americans, and you can tell that they're like, oh shit, she's dead. Like they're gonna murder her for this. And yeah, they were like, oh, well, this is an act of defiance against the Soviet Union who just like took over the country. And yeah, she wasn't allowed to come back. They literally were like, if you do come back, you're gonna go in prison, or we're gonna kill you, or whatever. So she had to stay in Mexico for like years and years. And it's just a crazy story. She was an amazing woman. And yeah, there should be a movie about her. Like, crazy life.
That's some story to have in your family. So like that. It might even beat that I talked about. That is such a great story.
It is, honestly, like every time, and like when I show people the video on YouTube, they all are like, okay, this is nuts. They're like, you can tell that the guys doing like the voiceover are like, oh crap, like she's in trouble for this. Yeah. Like she shouldn't have done this. They're like, good on her, but she shouldn't have done this. So yeah, it's great though.
Definitely something I'm gonna go like Google YouTube after this.
I'll send you the link because yeah, it is. Yeah, it makes me so proud. You know, every time I watch it, like my eyes teared up. I've seen it millions of times. But I'm always like, that's my aunt. That's my great aunt. That's my grandma's sister. Like, that's my blood. Like, getting like girl power, not taking any shit.
It's amazing. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been
That's all right.
a pleasure. It's been such a good chat. Time's flown. I can't believe how fast it's gone.
I can talk for England. No, I had loads of fun. Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming on. And I'm sure it will go absolutely fine the way it's going, but good luck continuing with your Gobby Vegans brand. I've got no doubt it will continue and keep rising and rising because it's going so well at the moment, and the drawings are so good. And everything else that comes your way, good luck with it. And we'll definitely speak again soon. If we're not speaking on Instagram, we'll arrange another talk in the future. Because I'm sure we haven't fit out everything into this hour or so that we've been talking. So we'll definitely go again.
Sounds great. I can't wait already.
Thank you for coming on.
That's all right.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.